How did we end up here? This place is horrible. Smells like balls.
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Alonzo Duralde, Christy Lemire, William Bibiani, and the long-anticipated, much-discussed Birdman is opening this weekend.
Birdman is here. Starred Michael Keaton as a former superhero who is now a washed-up actor trying to reclaim his former glory by writing, directing, and starring in a Raymond Carver performance on Broadway. Nothing really goes as planned, and yet it is spectacular. Take a look.
We had it all. You were a movie star, remember?
Who is this guy? He used to be Birdman.
I like that poster.
You wrote this adaptation?
I did, yeah.
And you're directing and starring in your adaptation. That's
Yeah.
ambitious.
Are you afraid people will say you're doing this play to battle the impression that you're a washed-up comic strip character?
Absolutely not. That's why 20 years ago I said no to Birdman 4.
Birdman 4? You do Birdman 4?
Now you're about to destroy what's left of your career. We should have done that reality show they offered us.
Shut up.
I'm gonna grab up on your ass, fucking choke you out.
You know I'm right.
You're so nice.
Why don't you try to rest a little bit?
Face it, Dad. You're doing this because you're scared to death, like the rest of us, that you don't matter. And you know what? You're right. You don't.
Baby, can you understand me now? Sometimes I get a little mad. Don't you know no one alive can always be an angel? When things go wrong, I seem to go bad.
Listen to me.
I'm just a
You were the original man. Let's make a comeback. That's what I'm talking about. You're Birdman. You are a god.
Hey! Is this for real or are you shooting a film?
A film!
You people are full of shit!
Let's go back one more time and show them what we're capable of.
Birdman!
There you go, you motherfucker.
Best movie of the year.
Wow.
Best movie of the year, says me.
Crap. All right.
I was blown away because here's the gimmick, right? It Alejandro González Iñárritu.
Iñárritu.
Although now he's G. He is Alejandro G. Iñárritu. But he creates a sensation that you are watching one long continuous take.
Right. With the help of cinematographer Emmanuel Lubezki, who just shot Gravity.
Who shot Gravity with his friend Alfonso Cuarón. So you can look for the cut. You can see where they are. But you know what though? It is so much fun to go along on the thrill ride, to go on what even Iñárritu has described as a high wire act. He sent a photo to all of the cast before the film began of Philippe Petit walking up between the World Trade Center towers. And truly, this is a high wire act. Because you're holding your breath thinking at any moment this could all fall apart, and it never does. It moves so beautifully.
And it's a movie about the theater, so it makes sense that you've got actors who can handle a long take, who can be improvisational if necessary. You've got this amazing sort of percussive bebop score underscoring everything to the point where you actually see the guy drumming on screen.
That's very clever. Every once in a while he comes in.
And I'll tell you, I am not a fan of Iñárritu up until now. His previous films did not particularly care for them. I
hated some of them.
Really hated like 21 Grams and Beautiful.
Beautiful drove me insane.
I like 21 Grams, but I hate. But he's having fun finally.
Yes,
it was funny.
He's been wallowing in human misery. Like Beautiful was just misery porn if ever I've seen it. And here he's taking someone's misery and using it in a way that's exciting and still, doesn't make light of it. Never makes light of it, but puts it in a way that's cinematic and fun at times, at least. And and you're right. Being backstage at a play, where everything's going go 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 and everything is live and you never get that break. This whole process doesn't feel like a gimmick. It feels like a really clever and effective way to illustrate a racing mindset. This is like Noises Off on speed.
Sure.
Like, great.
It makes you wonder, like, if Hitchcock had the toys we have now, what Rope would have been like,
How much longer would that tracking shot have been?
Yeah, because he would have just been stuck in that apartment. Like, they're going up and down the streets of New York, and they're in Times Square, and time does pass. It's not like it seems like a continuous take, but it's not a real-time movie. It's a few days. But yeah, Yeah, and such a great cast. I mean, starting with Keaton, who, I mean, you can, again, like the camera work, you think it's going to be a gimmick. You think this is pure stunt casting, which maybe it was.
Right, to have Batman play Birdman.
Yeah, exactly.
You either get Michael Keaton or Val Kilmer. There's like no one else who could have done it.
And he even has a line early on about how like Michael Fassbender and Robert Downey Jr. and Jeremy Renner got a lot more out of putting on a superhero costume than he ever did. But God, it is such a rich performance, and it's funny and it's bleak. And there's, in my review on The Wrap, I said he's emptying out the paint box. It's like all these different shades and emotions and colors, and it's terrific. And then you've got Edward Norton, who is also kind of taking the piss of himself, I think, with the serious actor.
He hasn't been this good in a long time. Remember when he got started doing American History X and Fight Club? Everyone was like, ooh, he's going to be amazing. And then there's been this period that's been kind of like, he's just been riding on his Ed Norton-ness, and here he's challenged. Yeah. He's alive. He's just creating a really rich, beautiful character.
Yeah, Naomi Watts, Emma Stone,
adorable.
Andrea Riseborough. Yeah, I mean, just all these great people. And this is a movie that pops and snaps and moves and goes, and I loved it.
Okay, what's amazing to me about this is that it does seem relentless, right? Because it is nonstop, as you say, and the camera's constantly swooping and moving. But then when it does settle down for an intimate, quiet moment between like Michael Keaton and Amy Ryan, who plays his ex-wife, or Keaton and Emma Stone, who plays his daughter, like that to me in those quiet moments is as powerful as some of the more showy, demonstrative stuff with the camera.
Yeah, it can do that.
There are some camera angles and some little swoops that are just a little too precious. Like he'll go through the grating of a window or whatever. But still, it's like, wow, you pulled that off.
Okay, I was going to ask you, this is your favorite film of the year, so you're defending everything.
Yes, I am.
There are some moments of magical realism that I think are teetering on the edge of, is this going to play? Is this going to work?
Like the telekinesis, is anyone ever going to watch them do that?
Yeah, are they going to bring this home? So I'm assuming you think they do.
I dug it, and I think they did it just the right amount. They don't overdo it, and yet in the burst, like you see in the trailer, there's explosive stuff going on the streets of New York as if he's envisioning an action movie going on all around him. Like the fact that they drop it in kind of sparingly gives it its power. If it had been wall-to-wall magical realism, I think it would have been totally obnoxious.
Sure.
But I was okay with the little moments. Okay. And I also like even just the idea of him talking to himself in the Birdman voice, which sounds like Beetlejuice.
I thought he was doing Christian Bale.
It does sound like that
too, actually.
It does sound like that too, but it's like deep and growly, so he's sort of acknowledging.
Oh, and of course, there's a critic who's the worst person on earth.
Okay, let's talk about her. Let's talk about her. Lindsay Duncan plays the New York Times critic who's an awful human being. We're not that vindictive. We as a people want to be happy.
Yeah, exactly. I really feel like that when artists talk about critics, that you learn more about the artist than you ever do about critics.
Well, I mean, he talks about how all she's really doing is just labeling everything good, bad, sloppy, lazy, whatever. And he's like, where's the insight? Where's the analysis? And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't read her work. Maybe this is just her notes, and like you haven't really read the review. But like, yeah, she's gonna she vows to destroy the play.
Sight unseen.
Yeah, because she's that snooty critic, and only her opinion matters. Which is this the Algonquin Round Table? Does that still happen?
Well, a bad review from the New York Times will pretty much kill a serious work.
Okay, I'm not that into the scene.
Unless you have mounted a musical with tourist appeal, if the Times hates you, you're pretty much sunk, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, it's always weird when movies take a weird pot shot at critics. I remember The Raven, where there was the Edgar Allan Poe serial killer story where the killer like pitted the pendulums, the critic, and it was just like, oh well, should we notify a sound? No, he's a critic, no one cares.
Right.
And I'm like,
and
I'm right here,
Ratatouille, of course.
Lady in the Water. No, the Ratatouille critic, that I feel like gets it. Like we all live for that moment where we bite into the ratatouille and anyway, but that's a minor thing. I could let that go.
No one cares about us.
I totally. But no, this is an exciting movie. I will say it is one of the best films of the year for sure.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
What are your numbers?
I'm going to give it an 8. I thought it was really, really, really great, but I need to let it simmer a bit more. My opinion might change a little bit over time, but more or less.
I saw it a couple months ago at the Venice Film Festival.
Because you're fan.
And I'm still digging it, so I give it a 9.
I'm going big. I'm giving it a 10. It's pretty amazing. Woohoo! So it's a 9 from us. It's at 92% on the tomato meter. So run, don't walk to Birdman. Bye.